Hi everyone, in this video I want to show you a quick glimpse of what the initial setup for a 360 master controller rotating rig would look like. It's not going to be completely different from what we would find in a 360, it's just that there are certain things that we need to try to have as much as possible to reduce the margin of error when some of these poses are going to be interpolated and generated automatically by the script and not necessarily by the poses. So in this one right here, I'm starting off with a basic head rotation. So middle range right here. I'm gonna have two more, one that's looking up, one that's looking down, and anything in between those will be generated automatically by the script. So moving on right here, up shot, down shot for each view, as we can see here. So that's going to give me a bit more in terms of the range of these poses. I wouldn't go necessarily with more frames than this in between those two frames. So I've got my main ones over here, down shot, mid shot, up shot, and that is the case for each of my 5 main views. So I've got front, quarter front, side, quarter back, and back, as we can see right here. So I've then used a few frames to create some blinks. As you can see, I did not interpolate the blinks, but I did create them on each view, up shot, down shot, and mid shot. Basically for this one, I didn't really care too much if they were going to be interpolated. I don't really need to create them myself. It is going to be pretty straightforward to bring down that aspect, that eyelid right here onto the eye without too much trouble. These eyes that we have right here, along with what I have over here, I got the lip sync for my character on each view. These are actually not drawings. These have been created with a single drawing and with deformation applied to it to bring down the eyelid, open up the mouth, and things like that. I want to try to use as few drawings as possible because drawings don't interpolate. If you want them to interpolate, you'll have to use morphing and things like that, and it's not so much compatible with the master controller, while the deformation uses keyframes, and those will interpolate along with the keys implemented inside of the script. So focus mainly on using deformation, using keyframes over creating new drawings, which is not to say that you can't use them. It's just that these will not interpolate smoothly opposed to positions that were created with keyframes. Over on this side right here, I have the full body rotation as well. You can use that if you want. You could have a slider that repositions the body and then have another one that repositions the head. That is a possibility. It's not going to be inside the example that we provide, but it is something that can be done. Then moving on, we've got a lip sync on every view, as I mentioned before. The lip sync is something that can be quite tricky, so better have solid poses onto those, and definitely not something that you want to tackle on as your first rig, a 360 lip sync. I would say definitely, if you haven't already, make sure that you go and check out rigging 1 and rigging 2, and we've got rigging 3 coming up sometime in the near future. So we also have a full rotation of the head, as you can see right here, full rotation down shot. I already have the mid shot at the beginning of my scene, and I have the full rotation up shot. So this is definitely reducing the margin of error. I have the full rotation like this, the full rotation down shot, the full rotation middle. So already that's a lot of poses that I can use. You don't want to go crazy either. You don't want to do like 50 poses in between each view, because then that becomes super complicated for the programmer who's going to have to like pick and choose and import them into the script. If it can be done with regular interpolation, don't worry about it too much. I wouldn't go more than 10 frames in between each pose because very honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference between these two poses right here, so we can deal with picking one or the other. So imagine if you had twice as more than that. So now that we know the back end of this scene and how to set up the keyframes that we have right here, let's get into the next video where we can see how the master controller is going to work on this guy. See you there.